Powered by Arkansas, for Arkansas. This is Inside Arkansas Live.
And welcome into Inside Arkansas Live here on this beautiful day here in the great state of Arkansas. I'm your host, John Neighbors, alongside Curtis Wilkerson and Andrew Ellis, and appreciate each and every one of you for making us a part of your afternoon this afternoon, as we are going to have a very loaded show for you today. A lot of coaching search talk, a lot of college football talk in general, but we're going to have our heavy hitters. We're going to have all the other stuff that you want to talk about, of course, by getting into the chats. And it's going to be a fun one here on this Thursday. So, fellas, it is Thursday, closer to the weekend, but how are the vibes here this afternoon?
Well, you tell me, John, because I requested PTO when we found out that John Gruden is no longer a factor in this Arkansas coaching search, and you denied it. And so now I'm just gonna be in a bad mood here all day. No, I'm doing good, boys. A little bit tired today, but there's no shortage of interesting stuff to talk about as it pertains to this coaching search, basketball team, you name it. We got a lot to get into.
Yeah, I'm excited. Always love talking ball. Always love getting to interact with our loyal listeners, our great chat, the most sound minds in this state of Arkansas. We're all on board with Charles Huff being named the next head coach of the Arkansas Razorbacks, right? Like, is that kind of like, I know there's a lot going on this morning. Is that kind of the conclusion we've all jumped to?
Yeah, excited about it, man. Can't wait for the press conference. Eyes on Drake. We'll be out there to see him land on the at the airport.
Big Chuck landing soon. Huh?
Oh yeah, that's I can't believe we haven't done a making the case for it yet. Maybe that'll be next on our agenda for that. But yeah, man, it's always crazy and chaotic when it comes to coaching search. We know that, but it seems like some days are crazier than others. This week has definitely involved some of the craziest days of them all. And today we'll just dive into it because there's a lot of things that are swirling and going around. And this actually came out from Pete Nakos, who of course is a On 3 college football national writer. And he's always putting out some little nuggets, little intel from a lot of different coaching searches. And today he gave an update from his report on Arkansas and their current situation. And here's what he had to say. Quote, sources have stressed to On 3 that Arkansas does not have a top 3 or a top target at this point. But that's expected to come into focus entering the final weeks of the 2025 season. The Razorbacks have held a handful of Zooms and in-person interviews with a range of candidates in the last 46 days and counting. The Razorbacks are also working with a candidate pool that is in the mix for other openings, 9 power conference schools actively looking for a head coach. One name that sources have told On 3 is not a factor into this search at this point is former Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Las Vegas Raiders coach John Gruden, who, I know, sucks, who's publicly expressed a desire to get back into coaching. It says Arkansas made a run at SMU's Rhett Lashley. Arkansas has also pursued Penn State coach James Franklin, who is a top name in the Virginia Tech search. But the Razorbacks are not limiting their search to Franklin. Sources across the industry have told On 3 that Tulane's John Summerall, USF's Alex Golish, Memphis's Ryan Silverfield, North Texas's Eric Morris are names to know. And there's also been interest in former Northwestern coach Pat Fitzgerald and Minnesota's PJ Fleck. Fellas, your thoughts?
So every guy who is potentially in the running to land one of these coaching jobs, we just threw him out there as, Arkansas has at least been connected to him. The main thing I want to know from that is who is his source on this that is stressing that Arkansas hasn't narrowed it down and zeroed in on a candidate or even a top 3. I want to know who told him that, because depending on where it comes from, that might be notable or it might just be BS, because it's a little bit different when you're on the national scene, right? Because he might have some plugs into, the Arkansas side of this thing. I don't know that to be the case necessarily, but a lot of times these guys talk to who? Like agents and other folks in the coaching circles or in the college football industry. And there might be specific reasons why something like that is the message that is suddenly delivered. People are talking about smoke screens and everything else there. If I knew where that came from, I wish you'd have been a little bit more specific about it. Like, sources within the University of Arkansas say, or, sources within the coaching circles. I just wish we knew that, because that would maybe change how I'm reacting to this. Right now, I got a lot. I can't lie to you guys. I'm a little bit confused by what we heard there.
Yeah, so yesterday when we were doing the show and there were all these rumors swirling of, hey, Arkansas's got their guy and they're waiting to announce, and, oh, this deadline's going to hit this week. We felt like it was only going to be a matter of time before the big dogs of the national scene started doing some digging and either found that to be true or found that to be inaccurate. And I felt like it would be about 24 hours before we started hearing from the Thamels, the Marcellos, the Brett McMurphys, the Bruce Feldmans, all those guys. I got to be honest, and I want to be careful with how I word this. Nakos doesn't necessarily count as that for me personally. I'm not saying that Pete Nakos isn't a stud or that he's not, legitimate. I don't know if he's on that level of like a guy like Marcelo put something out. We take him at his word 1,000%. There's no doubt about it. I'm with you, Curtis, that I would have liked some maybe more clarification of like, we've spoken with guys who have intel on this situation because they are the agent of somebody, or we spoke with so-and-so in this athletic department and he knows this, or we spoke with Alex Golesh and he told us he's not involved. Something like that. A lot of what Nakos has done during this coaching search is seem to just kind of check Twitter, see what's going on. But I would have to imagine that whether it's Nakos, Marcelo, or any of these guys, they probably reached out to all their sources wanting to know, hey, is this smoke real? Has Arkansas really gotten their guy? And so when you say, what that specific messaging of Arkansas has not narrowed down their top three, I think that's a direct response to yesterday when the narrative of the rumor mill was Arkansas has their guy. And so I think the purpose, if there was one, of Nakos's intel was to basically throw the fire on the idea that Arkansas has already named their guy. And now it's up to us to believe, to determine whether we want to believe that or not, whether we want to believe the rumor mill yesterday, whether we want to believe what Biddy had to say about this whole thing, whatever. But, I got to be honest, for me personally, like, I don't know if that's enough confirmation. If there's a couple other heavy hitters in the national scene that want to confirm that, we'll see. But I don't know if I'm putting a whole lot of stock into that. And I mean that as respectfully as possible.
Well, the one thing that stood out to me was the word stressed. Yeah. Like that was the wording. I think it's always interesting as now that I'm officially a writer, so I can understand the words that are written. When it says sources have stressed to On3 that Arkansas does not have a top 3 or top target at this point, that tells me that it's not just sources say. Sources stress means we need to make sure you understand this. We need to make sure you know. And this is the thing. There's no other thing going on. This is what it is.
It's like somebody reached out to him.
Right. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. And so that I get hung up on that third word of that paragraph, like stressed. And maybe this is just the glass half full coming out, but I guess maybe a case of this could be that there's, I hate to use the word smoke screen because it gets thrown around, but maybe there's some people that's like, hey, let's leak out all this different information to different people and just throw everybody into a loop. Maybe I'm giving them too much credit behind the scenes. But, maybe they're telling Nakos one thing and Trey Biddy one thing and, the Twitter trolls another thing. Maybe they got access to all those people like Silverstead or whatever that guy's name is. But, like all this stuff, because I just thought that using the word stressed is a very like they were hammering Nakos and saying, hey, like make sure you say this. Make sure make sure this is the first thing you say, that we have no top target. Very strange to use that wording to me.
Yeah, it is. I guess one of two things could be the case there, right? It's like, okay, dang, somebody's onto us. Like we're about to be found that we've got this whole big plan here. We better put something out there and see if we can deflect it a little bit. Or it was just complete BS and people are getting more and more anxious and antsy and demanding answers. And okay, we're about to hire our guy, to where someone just felt the need to be like, yo, this is crazy. We're not to that point yet. I don't know what everybody's talking about. So I don't know, man. And honestly, another thing about this that it just has me a little bit confused is seeing this. Like if you're a big fan of the idea of James Franklin, right? This might concern you if you take it at face value, because correct me if I'm wrong, but the vast majority of the James Franklin and Arkansas connection has come from Arkansas folks, has come from us and from Trey and, from different places connected to Arkansas specific people that have been making that connection. And I've been waiting to see more national guys get on board with that. And I know he was mentioning this or whatever, but it was almost very much in passing. Didn't seem like it was that big of a deal kind of thing. And so that makes me wonder a little bit about what's really going on here. I know he threw out like every coach in the AAC and everybody you would expect. the Pat Fitzgerald thing, the PJ Fleck thing, like that just makes me like, was he reading the Discord a little bit? I don't know. Like it's some of those names that come out there. I'm just like, okay, yeah, we've heard some of that too, but what are we doing here? Like, what was the purpose of this? So I just I left that a little bit more confused than I was already. And boy, I was a hell of a lot more confused yesterday than I had been. So I have no idea where this is headed, boys.
Do we have ourselves a good old-fashioned smokescreen off here? Because
so.
yesterday, when all the rumors were going, we were like, oh, is this a smokescreen? Is the fact that Dabo's name is being thrown around, is that a smokescreen? Is this Gruden? Is this Brendan Walker stuff? Is that a smokescreen? Is this the smokescreen? Is this basically trying to throw us off the scent? That is something we genuinely do have to consider, because that is possible. Like you guys said, if Arkansas has their guy and they're getting ready to do it and they don't want people to know about it, well, that would be a pretty good way to throw people off the scent, is to tell a national guy, yeah, no, there's nothing going on. I do also think it's important to consider that whoever let's say Arkansas's next head coach is James Franklin. Well, then James Franklin has an inner circle of potential sources that might find that out. There's sources in Pennsylvania that might be able to find that out. There's different groups of people who might have that information. If it's Alex Golish, that might be a completely different group of people who might have that information. And so I think that's another thing to consider. If NACO's got the Arkansas doesn't have their top guy from somebody, I wonder if one of those random no-name coaches that he listed off, like a Pat Fitzgerald or whatever, maybe if someone from that circle is his source, where it's like, oh, no. Arkansas told me, Pat Fitzgerald, that they don't have a top coach. So yeah, NACO's, you're good to run to that. I'm not saying that's what happened here. I'm just saying that, like, whenever the Arkansas hires their coach, everyone's going to be scrambling to try and get it. Where that source and where that report comes from is going to be directly impacted by who that guy is. If Arkansas were to be hiring John Gruden, that's a completely different source, completely different agent, completely different insiders who might have that intel. And so I do think it's very interesting. And so the real question now just becomes, who is it that NACOS is talking to, and why did they tell him that?
The more I think of it, are we starting to agree that had to have come from someone at the U of A or someone involved on the Arkansas side of things? Because the more I think about what you were saying, John, about how they're just really stressing that this is the case, not what everybody's saying. Well, like, why would an agent say that or somebody else? So yeah, it's getting spicy here, boys.
Well, see, and that's kind of like the point you brought up too, Andrew, of when this gets to this point, because I'm always a believer in timing on things. I remember when it was the Petrino thing, when he became the interim, and suddenly he was doing like a car wash of going on different radio shows. And then there was that article that was put up on 3 and all at the same day about, and then like a big donor that was saying, well, we'd love to have Petrino back. I'm like, what's happening here? Like, what are we doing? This is kind of the same thing that I'm feeling right now, because as we talked about, there was quote marching orders, as we joke about, to kind of be given out of like something that's going on there. Okay. And then you have this coming out. And then you throw in, like, again, the stuff that, of course, Biddy's been talking about and Mike Irwin's been talking about, and we've been talking, but it's all over the place. And so my little conspiracy hat that I like to throw on is like, okay, so what is the timing of this? What could be the benefit of this? What's going on here? Why NACOS? Kind of like what you were talking about. Why him? Why not Brandon Marcello? Why not someone who's here and in the mix? And I have nothing against NACOS, but I also can kind of consider Pete NACOS he's not a connected to Arkansas type of guy. Like, I think that there could be some burning there if, say, one of these donors or whoever is giving this info to NACOS, if they went to Marcello, that would kind of burn a little bit if it ended up not being true from Marcello. Marcello's like, well, I'm never dealing with you again because that's not true and you've burned me. I think that maybe they're just throwing it out to NACOS because it's like, hey, if we burn him, what does it matter? Who cares? He's not a local guy, so it's not like we burn that bridge. It's not Marcello or somebody like that we, have dealings with or anything. Let's throw it to this guy and let it go, and then let the rest of it fall into place. Because as we've always talked about, the floodgate type of deal could be opening up. And as far as I can see so far, I haven't seen any other outlet or national or any otherwise confirm or hop onto the report or anything that Pete NACOS has said about this. So, again, I may be just looking really into the weeds here, but there's just a lot of fascination when I see the timing of everything and the intention of everything and why it all happens at once. There's usually got to be some sort of reason as to why.
Brandon Marcello, if you're listening to the show, and we know sometimes you do, just hop on. Let us know. We'll get you in here now. Let's clear all this up, buddy, because we trust what you have to say, man. And yeah, and I don't want to come across as like shortchanging NACOS, because he has broken multiple of these major coach firings in this cycle. So he's very much like an up and comer who's plugged. But yeah, as it pertains to Arkansas and just like some of the language in that conversation that that article that he put out there, it makes you wonder what's really going on here, because from the sounds of it, and I guess you can read something and interpret it a million different ways, but the way I was reading it as it was portrayed, it was like, okay, Arkansas has had a month and a half here, and they kind of just been screwing around. Yeah, we've done a few Zoom calls here and there, and we're talking to some other people. It's like we've been putting out feelers, and now we're going to start getting serious about it over here, but we're probably just going to be picking from the scraps of the other schools that we're competing with some of these candidates, because we're certainly not going to get them. And that's just not in line with anything that we've been hearing on our end of things in terms of the type of financial situation that Arkansas is coming up with and improving that, and their motivation to go out there and make a good hire, and all these things that they're trying to pour into the football program. So it seems a little bit contradictory here, even if it is a smokescreen. I don't even know why you would want to put that out there. Maybe nobody knows what's going on, but it just that part of it seemed weird to me too, because I just refuse to believe that for 6 weeks they've just been chilling. There ain't no way.
Not. Yeah, they just can't, man.
Yeah, make no mistake. If what Menekos is reporting is true, that is a really bad sign and a really bad look for Arkansas. And that is bad news for all of us who have high hopes or have real expectations, or that think that there's been anything going on. So that's why I think that is such a notable thing for a national guy to be reporting. I got to be honest, though, it feels very similar. I don't remember if Nakos got in on this thing, but you remember the week of the Notre Dame game when Marcelo on Sunday started reporting some stuff, and then there was a very clear effort, likely from the U of A, to push back against that, to kind of put out that fire of, oh, no. Bobby hasn't been working the phones. They're all locked in. They're trying to win this game Saturday. Oh, no, everything's fine over here. This does feel a little similar to that, where we talk about the U of A's motivations and why the U of A would want to put something out. I wonder if people inside that football athletic department are kind of like, hey, this kind of sucks that, we're about to play LSU and nobody's talking about this. And it seems like everybody's all dead set that we're about to hire a coach. Would be kind of nice if people didn't think that Arkansas was going to hire a coach right now so that they could focus on our game.
Yeah, like I want to keep talking about this because I know there's a lot of stuff that we can break down into it, but I want to remind everybody that here on Inside Arkansas Live, we're presented by our friends over at the Eye Center. If you want to have good vision this winter, this holiday season, you need to get your eyes checked. It's all something that's very important. You may think that you have your eyesight in check. You may think that everything's fine, but then if you have to continue to keep squinting to try to see things in distances, or really struggling to read words on a page, or even the words on the screen that you're looking at right now, well, that might be a telltale sign that you need to get your eyes checked. So do it with the Eye Center of Northwest Arkansas. They're able to perform cataract surgery for you before the end of 2025. So if you're needing that cataract surgery and make your holiday season in clear view, they can perform it. They also do refractive surgery for patients that may be struggling with their readers, their glasses, their contacts. They have surgery options for each and every person. So just make sure you utilize your FSA benefits before the end of the year. They also have availability for eye exams with their new provider, Dr. Rebecca Brown, right now. So be sure to check that out. To do Botox, filler, and IPL, also with their aesthetics provider, Olivia Rich. They do it all. So get your eyes fixed. Don't worry about having the struggling vision anymore. Schedule an appointment with the Eye Center of Northwest Arkansas today at 479-442-2020. That's 479-442-2020. Or you can also check out their website at eyecenternwa.com for more information. All right, guys. So continuing on with the discussion here, the thing about this specific, because that's what I like hearing and like what I like seeing, is what's the latest intel and what's the names and the things that are getting mentioned from this NACOS article. The names that got mentioned are all the ones that we've been bringing up and ones that are in the other ones too. But it's like what's the latest here? Actually, hold on a second. Do we have an update here again? Sorry, NACOS just tweeted out another Arkansas update on Intel, and I don't know if it's the same one or not. But I'll keep you updated on that. I was thinking, but it just said update on search. But anyways, okay, we'll move on. I'll check that out later. But either way, it's just a matter of like the names that are getting thrown around. And I looked at the other searches, or at least the other teams that he was bringing up, and it's so funny to me because not one of them have ever been said of, well, this is, they do not have a top 3 or top target at that point. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because, like you were talking about, Andrew, that's an awful look. If that was true, if that is true, if what Nakos is saying, that is an awful look, and everybody should be outraged because that is a joke. That is a joke if that's the case.
What that tells me is they shouldn't have even fired Sam Pittman then. Like, if you weren't even going to start your damn search until the end of the season, you should have kept Sam around, or they literally fired him with the full intent of hiring Bobby Petrino. Like, okay, here's what we're going to do, and Bobby's going to do just enough for us to get away with this the easy way and bring him on. And now that it's become clear that that's not really going to be a thing, okay, let's get started. And again, that's not what I'm saying is happening, but like based on the language of that article, that's what it kind of sounds like. I don't believe that. I just don't.
I'm with you. I don't believe it, but it definitely is like all of our biggest fears, because I'm with you that like when they first announced that they were firing Sam and they mentioned Bobby in the thing, we thought that was weird in the moment. And we all spent about 3 weeks, whether we thought Bobby should be the guy or not, and make no mistake, all three of us were on the side of like, Bobby would have to do a lot here to make it. But we all spent 3 weeks having the conversation because it was a real thing. And so even if it was just a, hey, we think we're going to hire Bobby and we'll just kind of wait and see how this thing plays out, even then, that's been like 3 or 4 weeks. So it's like the fact that, like, oh, yeah, now we're going to get started going. This feels to me like old information. Is that a weird thing to say?
No, I don't think so.
It's a weird thing to say.
Because I think that's possible, like what you said, Curtis, that they went in kind of being like, hey, this Bobby thing is kind of what we want to happen. And then once you lose the first 2 games, and then, of course, when you lose to freaking Auburn, that's really when the jig was up. Maybe that moment, that was when things started really getting serious. If that is true, that Arkansas is just now getting to the point where they're like, hey, we've now confirmed it ain't going to be Bobby. It's like, dude, you're 3 weeks late.
It's like when you put a job on Indeed or whatever, and you collect applications for a couple weeks, and then, all right, we'll reach out to some people. We'll set up some phone interviews. Okay, that was cool. Let's do a Zoom. That way we can put a face to the name. And all right, a couple weeks later, we'll get down to 3 to 5, and we'll bring you on campus, and we'll talk about it and see if you're the right fit for us. That's that's a hell of an approach for a coaching search in the SEC, if that's the way you're doing it. And I just not sure that I'm buying that one, man.
No, I'm not either. And in fact, that was the first thing I kind of thought from Nakos's report of like, man, if this is all true, it's like Bobby Petrino's the guy. Because that to me is just like, we don't really care. Like, it's whatever. We may do a couple Zoom calls here and there, but we already got our guy. We'll just make sure we cover all the bases there. Yeah, that would be just outrageous. But again, I'm given the benefit of the doubt that this is not true and that they have been hitting it hot and heavy, and they've been talking to candidates, they've been talking to people and all of that. And because I saw somebody say, well, I know that they've been trying to raise the money, to get to this point. I'm like, okay, but you can do 2 things at once. It's not like, it's like, well, we can't talk to any coaches yet until, a few weeks go by. And then we have for sure all the money that we think that we're going to need. It's like, or you talk to the coaches and say, yeah, man, we got all the money. How much money are you going to need again? Oh, $30 million. Yeah, totally. Yeah, we can make that happen. And then in the background, you're like, hey, we need this money. Like, it doesn't need to be something, hey, guys, let's not get crazy here and start talking to coaches until we know every dime that we have in the bank book.
Meanwhile, we're campaigning for the chair of the CFP committee. So it's just, we're spread thin over here. There's a lot on the plate, man.
I have a horrible question to ask. I regret to even ask this, honestly, but do you draw any lines between the idea that Chuck and Bo were like doing the whole, hey, Hunter's trying to raise money, everything's going great. Now this Nakos article comes out. Do you put anything into the timing of like maybe Arkansas's fundraising efforts started like yesterday?
No way.
There's no way, right?
No. But maybe they're still ongoing, which is because I know there's been some stuff out there, and like the numbers, it's just like NIL, right? When somebody's like, oh, Arkansas gave this kid this much NIL, a lot of times you can cut it in half or whatever. But it's kind of hard to get a real handle on that because it's not public information. But some of the numbers that have been thrown out there of, Arkansas is trying to raise X amount of dollars for the football program. Arkansas has raised this much. Oh, this is earmarked. Oh, this guy's the backstop. Oh, he's not. All these things out there, that is probably still, and I know we hate this word, fluid, with those negotiations and getting all that stuff in place and getting everybody on board. I'm sure they have some of it, maybe plenty of it. But that's not over with yet for sure. But I just wonder why. It's hard not to get tinfoil hattish when we've been doing this for so many weeks now, and there's still much to go. But yeah, for sure, Andrew, you hear that today and you're like, dang, so what does this really look like? I guess they're still trying to work on that, and cool. Like, congratulations. We'll give you an A for effort, guy. And then you see that come out a little bit later today. These things happen. It feels like cyclically, where, you know, like you remember the Sam Pittman over the course of the summer, where all of a sudden there was like this strange push locally with all this stuff about the team and how it's going to be better. And man, rev share is going to save everybody. And then you get the random, it might've been NACOS. It was like an On3 article that was like, oh yeah, here's a deep dive with Arkansas coach Sam Pittman. It's like, why the hell are we doing this in June? Like, what's really going on here? Like, there is a method to this madness when some of this stuff starts to trickle out. So for anybody who's wanting to do the smokescreen conversation, you can connect some dots here that would make you feel like that might be the case.
You know, and I think what's interesting to me is like, and I know we've spent a lot of time kind of like making fun of the culture around this whole thing of the rumor and the speculation, but a lot of times when these guys are saying stuff, and I'm including NACOS in this, I know he's not spreading rumors or speculating. I'm sure what NACOS is reporting, he was actually told by someone, you know?
Yes.
But a lot of times when people run with things, I'm like, I hope you know what that means when you are running with it. Like NACOS is running with this, which, you know, I'm sure he got it from someone. I'm sure he thinks it's legit, but it's like, I hope NACOS does understand what that is, what he is alleging of the Arkansas Razorbacks right here. Just like if you're going to start a rumor that Arkansas spent, you know, hundreds of millions of dollars and all these donors are going to pitch in. I hope you know what you are rumoring here. I hope you know what you are saying, because it's very serious. And when we're trying to figure out what's happening and we're trying to take all these little random tidbits of information and like put them together, we kind of need to know, you know, what we need to, what we're operating with. But a lot of times I feel like things are thrown out there without people realizing what they are throwing out there.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And we'll continue the discussion, folks, but want to remind everybody, the official insurance company here of Inside Arkansas is OZK Insurance. Are you tired of juggling insurance companies to try to find the right coverage? Are you tired of it going back and forth, and you're just like, listen, I just want the best deal. I just want something that'll save me the time and the money of dealing with all of it. Well, luckily for you, there's a solution. It's OZK Insurance and Rogers. They make insurance simple. As a 100% independent agency, they shop the entire marketplace to deliver the best combination of cost as well as coverage. It could be home insurance, auto insurance, boat insurance, motorcycle insurance, life insurance, or even commercial insurance. They do it all. Their friendly team has access to a wide range of flexible options designed just for you. And they serve Northwest Arkansas and Central Arkansas, which includes Bentonville, Centerton, Fayetteville, Little Rock, Hot Springs, Springdale, and beyond, all across the state. So let OZK Insurance be the trusted advisor you never know you needed. But if you don't believe us, go ahead and check out their Google reviews. Over 600 five-star Google reviews. Nobody has that great of reviews when it comes to Google. We all know how that goes, but they do because they're that good. So start today with a free online quote at ozkinsurance.com, or you can call them at 479-715-4200. That's 479-715-4200. It's OZK Insurance, protection made simple. Again, in case you're just joining us, we've been talking about the latest reports of the coaching search for the Arkansas Razorbacks, and how NACOS is saying that nobody's into the mix, and basically they've just been sitting on their thumbs. Essentially, is what it comes from. But I still am just trying to wrap my head around, as you were saying, Curtis, the confusion, and try, because I don't like being confused, and I don't think anybody likes being confused. And when we deal with things like this, I'd rather be not knowing than confused. Now, I'd rather just not know anything. And that's what makes something like this such a big deal. And you see the timing of it when you're trying to navigate through it all. So let me ask you guys this. What's more likely? Let's do a little what's more likely. Is it more likely that NACOS report is true and Arkansas hasn't done jack squat? Or is it more likely that Arkansas has already hired their coach and they're just waiting for it to be publicly named? Like, which one of those scenarios do you guys think in this situation is more likely?
That they haven't done jack squat.
I hate to say it.
I know.
I do think that is increasingly more possible. And really, the reality is the answer is between, so nothing, I don't think they've done nothing, but right. I do think it's possible that they haven't really gotten answers. I'm sure it's very possible that they don't know for sure what financial situation they're working with. Who the hell knows in terms of clarity on the athletic department. I'm sure the athletic director. I'm sure we'll get to that in a second, but I think given the history of everything that we know, I think it is possible that Arkansas hasn't done anything significant.
It's true, man. And the other side of it too is what Arkansas wants is only part of the equation. You know, like they might want to be zeroed in. They might have an exact idea of who it is that they want to bring in here, and they've got their guy, and then they've got a couple contingency plans if it doesn't work out. And you might want to hire them today, but this doesn't operate on your timeline. We talked about that yesterday. That's not really how this works. And so if you're a guy like a James Franklin or whoever else it may be, the longer you wait, some of these dominoes start to fall, other things start to open up, the more leverage you have in these negotiations. And Jimmy Sexton wasn't born yesterday. I just have a hard time, believing that he wouldn't extrapolate the full value that he possibly could for any of his clients, and having them signed, sealed, and delivered, and letting that information start to trickle out there 3-4 weeks before the end of the season just doesn't seem like a very Sexton type of move. So the other part of it is when these coaches that you're trying to go get actually get into decision-making mode, whether they're sitting head coaches who are going to try to finish out their season, or guys who are waiting to get back into this thing, who are, playing the field right now to see what the best, options are out there for them.
So as part of our Alumni Hall question of the day, since, all this stuff is going on, I was just curious about, for Razorback fans in general, which part of the coaching search is making you the most skeptical of the current process? Is it who is doing the hiring of the coach? Is it who the coaches are being considered? Is it how much money that they have to do this, or some other reason? And as of right now, 47% of you say who legitimate is in the mix, who is the coach, but 30% of you say who is doing the hiring of the coach, while 22.5% says how much money that they actually have. So, I think that's fair, because it's always about who's the legitimate candidates that you're talking to, because that's ultimately going to be it. But still, a lot of concern of people just feeling like, okay, well, who's actually doing the hiring? Because we all know about with is it Yuracheck? Is it the board? Is it the money? Is it the collective group of all of them? I think that's also where people are a little bit skeptical, because they've lost some trust in those powers that be when it comes to some of the decisions that have been made.
Yeah. I mean, that's very true. You got to have a little bit of everything to do this right. We talked about it so many times. You can hire the best coach in the world, but if the administration around you is crumbling, like LSU, for example, if you're Lane Kiffin and you really like the idea of that LSU job, it's probably not very appealing to you right now with everything that's going on over there. You got to have those things in place. Like John Calipari says, administrations win championships or whatever. You got to have that. And then, it doesn't matter who's coaching. If you don't have the financial support to go out there and get the teams, all these things work in conjunction. So you got to have it all lined up and figured out. And if you don't, then you're limiting your own ceiling there for sure.
Yeah, for me, the two that I really focus in on are the financial backing of what does this look like. And I think there's also been some, interesting conversations to be had of, okay, if Franklin's your top guy and you think there's a specific dollar amount that it's going to take to get him, appease him, all that, if you are able to secure that, well, what if you don't get Franklin? Does that pass over to Golish? Does that pass over to Silverfield? Does that pass over to Gruden or whoever the hell? Like that, does it work for everyone? And so that is something I'm interested in. And I think it's fascinating that because a lot of people have kind of had some reporting, rumor, speculation on what Arkansas's financial situation is and how much they are able to make happen. I think a lot of it is in a lot of the things we've heard from very trusted people, like even John has talked about this. Arkansas wants to have a ton of support. They are really trying to take a big swing, and they are trying to raise this money. I would be interested to know, like, how is that going? I know no one's going to give us a press conference and be like, yep, we have raised X amount of dollars or whatever. But I would be interested to know, like, has that been successful? Have you successfully convinced a lot of your boosters who are tired of this and want to win? Are they really ponying up, and what does that look like? And does that apply to every coach? I also have very serious questions about who it is that's making this decision. Is it the boosters that are making this decision? Is it the money people making this decision? We all kind of agree that Yuracheck's not super involved in this, but it's like, does he have say? Does he have veto power? Like, those are the two things: the money that they have to make this move and how successful they are in raising that money, and who is making this decision are two things that I don't think we have a ton of clarity on, and I don't think we ever will really get clarity on. Those things don't typically come out. But I do think that's the most intriguing and I guess concerning part to me.
Yeah, and I'll take this one step further, because I know we're going to talk about some of the other things too, and we'll get to your chats, folks. We promise. It's just so much going on right now. But you mentioned the numbers. That's kind of, I think we've talked about it, but anytime numbers get thrown around in a coaching search, as far as reports and everything, I'm not saying that the person reporting it is lying or anything. It's just, that's just not how my understanding is. It gets thrown around. It's not like, comes back to the timelines or deadlines. Oh, he's got 48 hours. That's not how it goes, man. Or, he's asking for $3 million extra. It's like, it's just not a specific number usually like that. It's just more of a, as you said, the word that people hate, but the fluid situation of what you make work in all of it. But again, something that I've understood, for take it for what it is, because criminy, I mean, everybody's coming out with different stuff that they've been hearing, but from my understanding, Tyson's never really been one of those guys that's been involved as much. Doesn't mean that he's not involved in somewhat, for crying out loud. His freaking logo is on the field. So obviously he's involved somewhat when it comes to money. But as far as this specific thing, I haven't really heard how much his involvement is in. And I just understood it's just a collective amount of people. It's not just like one, like Walton coming in or Tyson coming in. It's, hey, we need everyone, all the billionaires and even you poor millionaires. We need all of you to be a part of this. And that's the right way to do it. And that's why I'm like, it's so hard for me to believe any sort of numbers that get thrown around, just because there's so many different people involved. I don't think you could just limit it to being, it needs this amount for this coach, and then that will work. That's just a tough thing for me to understand.
So, yeah, and that's a good point. It's not just, okay, we've got X amount of dollars and it's here for this coach or for every coach or whatever. It might be as specific as who donated what or who's contributing what. Because like if I'm a big booster or whatever and it's my money and I want this guy, and then you whiff on him and you tell me, well, we want the same amount for this one, I might be like, hell no, man. Or I might reduce it or whatever. So that's something that could happen. The question, my friends, is which candidate out there could have all of these guys rowing the boat in the same direction?
Hey, come on now.
Stop.
Hey, come on now. That is funny, though, because you always hear people ask that, especially at the beginning of coaching searches. They'll say, well, who is the big money behind? Who do all the boosters want? And it's like, dude, there's like hundreds of them, and they all have different opinions. Maybe some of them end up sharing the same opinion, but it's like, I guarantee you in a lot of these conversations, you could talk to 3 boosters who are like, oh, yeah, I have a lot of money and I'm willing to spend it, and my guy is Franklin. And then there's 5 other ones who are like, oh, but my guy is PJ Fleck. And so who is it, like you said, that's going to get all of those guys on board? And ultimately, once you hire a coach, you would hope that all the boosters just kind of fall in line. But it's going to be easier said than done, and it's going to be easier said than done if you have a legitimate coach that everyone can look to and say, okay, this is a guy I can get behind. But to your point, like if I'm a big booster that I'm like, hey, if y'all hire Franklin, I'll pitch in $15 million or whatever. If you come back with Eric Morris, I'm probably not giving you $15 million.
Exactly. Yeah. Everybody, it's easy to say like everyone is tired of losing or like the state of the football program, and they're all on the same page in terms of getting it leveled up and to a point of respectability, whatever. But everyone's opinion on how to do that and who the guy is to do it could be very different. And that is definitely something to consider here.
Yeah. This is just, it's fun. It's crazy. It's just, don't lose sleep over it, everybody. But it's, these are the types of days where you kind of go into one direction and you feel a certain way and you feel like maybe just maybe you got a little bit of a grasp on what everything's going on. And then something like this happens and it just puts you in a total whirlwind, which I think is what we talked about. I think it was on purpose. It was on purpose to do this.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm noticing a little bit, and it's not the entire chat. I'm not saying everyone feels this way. Select voices in the chat are starting to do the Bobby thing of like, hey, why don't we just hire Bobby? What's going on? I think today what we have confirmed is that they've now determined, the U of A has officially determined they can't do the Bobby thing, right? Like that's kind of become clear, which is probably why we're getting some of this other talk. Like, is that official at this point?
I've thought that was going to be the case for a minute, but yeah, I see what you're saying there. For sure.
What I mean? Like, I feel like that's the one thing we can take away from Nakos's reporting is that the U of A knows without a shadow of a doubt they can't do the Bobby thing. That's not going to be an acceptable plan.
I would like to say that and believe that, probably for all the reasons that you do. I just I do feel like that was kind of what they hoped would be able to happen going into this. And so now I am there's a part of me, and I'm just I'm too skeptical, man. I think I overthink stuff. If they go beat LSU on Saturday, I am not promoting this, so everybody relax. But if they go do it, then I could all of a sudden see just, I think I was, I think I mentioned it. I can't remember where. It might have been on the radio, but like if that happens, all of a sudden, like the Bobby Coalition, they're kind of, out in the woods and they've been in seclusion. Then they come out and they're like, you know what? We feel comfortable. Let's start rubbing these sticks together. It's going to start producing a little smoke. And can we turn it into fire again? Going into this Texas game. And that stuff would happen. And so that's why I'm a little bit hesitant to be like, oh yeah, it's over. It's over. Even though maybe in my mind, for me personally, it is.
Yeah, no, I still don't think it's Bobby. And of course I did the Locked On, I think last week about it. And then what was it? Kopesky came in flying in. It was just like, you're saying this. It's like, nope, I'm not. Just saying.
There he goes.
Yeah, classic
90
John.
seconds into the show today was like, neighbors already talking about Petrino.
They won't ever be able to beat the allegations these days, I guess. But it's folks. Let's just let the season play out before we start getting crazy.
Is tomorrow making the case for Pat Fitzgerald Day? He's like the only one we haven't done this for. So.
I'd rather eat dirt than do that. Like there is not a coach. I feel like between him and PJ Fleck, no. Stop. It's like it just people get so crazy with it. So I would be just balls deep in boredom having to do that. So we'll switch it up a little bit because again, we'll get to your chats, but we got to talk about some other news going on. Before we do though, reminder that BetSaracen is the #1 sports betting app in the entire state of Arkansas, and it's not even close. And you know why? Because they're the best. They offer all the different types of specials that you could possibly want, especially when it comes to Razorback basketball. They got a game tomorrow night. You can get in on some of the specials there. Razorback football against LSU. Looking at the spreads. Hey, Arkansas is 5.5 point underdogs. You feeling good? Feeling crazy? Go ahead and bet on it, but only do it with the BetSaracen app because it's the best. So what you do, though, here's the best deal about it. You scan that QR code right there on your screen, or you can go and click the link below in the description, and it'll take you to download the app. And when you download the app, use our code, Inside AR. That's right, Inside AR. When you do that, whenever you bet $25, you get $125. No other better deal than that. So go ahead, get to winning big, but also get your free money with BetSaracen by downloading the BetSaracen app, scanning that QR code, description below, takes you right to download the app. Use code InsideAR to bet $25 and get $125 with BetSaracen. All right, and before we get into the chat, folks, we got to bring this up because, again, this has just been madness. But we talked about timing and all of that. The latest, which shout out to the Baylor athletic director because, man, he apparently had some stuff going on. As he has had to take a leave of absence, or however you want to call it, from Baylor. I believe one of the guys from Outkick was reporting that he had put hands on an assistant coach, which also some other people picked up on, and apparently some violence behind the scenes. Seen that. Damn. Yeah. In fact, I want to just to make sure I probably should have brought this up before I just dropped that bomb right there. But from my understanding, and I'm going to make sure that I get it correctly. Trey Wallace was the guy who's of Outkick, but he was reporting that apparently it was 2 different altercations where it was 6 days of 2 different altercations, one of them leading to where he put hands on an assistant coach, physical altercation, also verbal abuse of some of the administration. So just some stuff like that. Either way, he had to step down as the athletic director, and he was also the college football playoff chair. Whoops. Yeah, kind of crazy to have that happen with just a few weeks away from the college football playoff being put together. But either way, why does that matter? Well, it matters because Heather Dinich, as well as others, Ross Dellinger being one of them, reported that Arkansas athletic director Hunter Yuracheck is not only being considered, but has now been officially nominated, according to Ross Dellinger, to be the new chairman of the college football playoff committee. It hasn't been approved yet. It has to be approved before it's made official. But guys, we've seen this before with Jeff Long when he was in that position. But what do you make of Hunter Yuracheck getting the nomination and also, assuming he gets approved, him being the college football playoff chairman?
Yeah, you're right. We have seen this before. I guess for me, what stands out about this is it's interesting to me, the difference in maybe the perception of Hunter Yuracheck by a growing number of folks within the state, for the university that he, the athletic department that he runs, versus how he's viewed maybe from a bigger picture standpoint, a national standpoint there. You know what I mean? Because you don't just get an opportunity like this. You don't get put in a position like this if you haven't earned a lot of respect amongst your peers. You know what I mean? But at the same time, folks over here for a number of reasons, whether it be the football program or, the resistance to NIL, whatever, you name it, have grown increasingly frustrated with some of the stuff here. So it's, and then there's questions as to how much involvement he initially had or has had or continues to have with the hiring of a damn football coach, which is the most important, part of the job outside of generating funds for an SEC athletic director. So that contradiction between how the world views him versus how, a lot of folks maybe within the state do is it's pretty fascinating to me. I gotta be honest with you.
Yeah, you mentioned the respect from his peers, and of course, Hunter Yuracheck served on the committee last year, and so it's like it's honestly been in a nutshell, not really that groundbreaking of a thing of like, hey, yeah, we need a replacement. We're hiring a guy that we already have done this with, that we've already seen kind of in this setting, and as many have noted, there's not going to be any issues with his school that he is currently the athletic director of making the playoff and causing a huge controversy here. So I think he's probably attractive from that standpoint, and believe it or not, I do think that's probably part of it. Are you going to go out there and get Georgia's AD whenever he's literally going to be in the playoff? Are you going to go out there and get South Florida's AD when they might, have a chance or whatever? So I do think that probably played into it. I think it's fascinating because this has happened before where Arkansas has had an athletic director serve on a committee like this when everyone in the state hated him and when he literally was in the process of getting fired. I mean, Jeff Long was fired correct me if I'm wrong here, Jeff Long was serving on the playoff committee it was a playoff committee at that point.
Mm-hmm.
The playoff committee, and he was the chair of it and was not even active in his job as the Arkansas AD. And so I think a lot of people have seen this report and they say, oh, they've jumped to multiple conclusions. I've seen some that have been like, oh, him doing this is proof that he's about to get fired at Arkansas because they hired him to do this knowing that he's not doing his job at Arkansas. And then I've seen some be like, damn, they're doing this. That means we can't fire him. Like that doesn't mean, and I just don't think either one of those things are true. Like if you think Hunter Yuracheck's going to get fired, this news does not disprove that. If you think Hunter Yuracheck's going to stay at his job at Arkansas, this news does not confirm that. And so it is very interesting. I just wonder, I'm like, how bad at your job do you have to be to where someone's like, hey, this guy sucks. Let's get him out and let's bring Hunter Yuracheck in. Like, how bad at your job do you have to be for that to be the backup plan is Hunter Yuracheck?
Yeah. Well, it is funny, though, because Jeff Long is still on the playoff committee. He's actually involved in there, and Yuracheck being that. But I'll tell you what, guys, I'm going to take it in the way and throw this out there to maybe make some Razorback fans be a little bit happy because they're irate. The tensions are high. How about this? We'll take this take. This is not what I'm believing is happening. It's just a thought. It just could be happening. Maybe he was nominated and maybe they put him forth is because he's not involved with the coaching search and he's not doing anything. And he has a little bit more time on his hands. Maybe it's that he's about to be, making a change of landscape and they just said, hey, well, hey, you're not doing anything anyways. Might as well come on board. Because I can tell you right now, if it was the fact that he was getting nominated for this, all of that, I'm like, he has a coaching search. That needs to be the focus, and I would not like it. But considering the reports of his involvement, whether or not he is or he's not, it's like maybe this is just something that's truly kind of reaffirming the fact that his involvement is nil. Maybe. Just a thought. But it's still something to where I saw someone was like, why does Arkansas keep having people on the AD or ADs be committees and on the chair? I was like, because you never have to worry about them being in the playoffs. So there's never biases there. But I don't know. I'm just throwing out some thoughts, some food for thought. And that could be the possibility.
Hell, just in March, you had North Carolina's Bubba Cunningham was like the chair of the selection committee for March Madness. And remember, it's so controversial about UNC. Like, they don't have a quad one win. How the hell did they get in there? This is crazy. I don't know that we're really in a position to have to worry about that if you're a Razorback fan. But I do get it for anybody who looks at that and goes, man, what the hell? Like, this is some would argue like maybe the most consequential hire in Razorback football history. Given the state of the landscape of the game, and I know a lot of people have brought up 2030 is it's like the new media rights time and maybe college football expansion, happening again. It's like you don't want to be on the wrong end of that when it happens here, and so. When you're trying to figure this out, like you're really going to take on this undertaking also. So I think you might be right, John. That's at least how I'm going to choose to look at it. Well, maybe it's just telling about exactly how much he's involved there. Because otherwise you're it's kind of like we said, you're putting a lot on your plate there. The Jackie Moon of athletic directors, Hunter Yuracheck.
I definitely agree with John's sentiment that this has zero bearing on Arkansas's coaching search. Like I
Yes.
absolutely 0.0%. I don't think this has any effect on Arkansas whatsoever. I mean, obviously Arkansas is not going to make the playoff this year, but hell, even if Arkansas was 9-3, I truly in my heart don't think Hunter Yuracheck, if Arkansas were 9-3, I don't think he would be in that room being like, "Come on, guys, you got to respect the Razorbacks." I really think, I hope there's not a ton of connection between Arkansas and Hunter Yuracheck moving forward. But in terms of the coaching search, in terms of like anything involving the university, I think this is something that is notable. Of course, it's something that, of course, is going to be reported, but I don't think this has a ton of impact on the Razorbacks.
No, not at all. But it is just, funny and ironic. And I'll tell you this before we get into the chats. This is I've just heard that there's been some instances where Hunter Yuracheck is just on Saturdays during certain college football games. He's been very locked in on other college football games to be able to know who's looking good in the playoffs. And that's where his focus has been, on Saturdays during football games. I'm just saying that's what I hear. So he's locked into his new gig. And I think that obviously the research and everything, he's a guy that's ready for it. He's ready for this big gig.
In fairness, my livelihood is dependent on being locked in on this Arkansas football team. And I'm not going to tell y'all what I do on Saturdays during the game. So
I mean, I don't think you'd be the only one either. I don't think you'd be the only one, but we'll get to your chats, folks. Appreciate everyone's patient with us, but we want to remind everybody that Hickey & Hole Law is the official law firm of Inside Arkansas. It doesn't matter if it's divorce cases, custody cases, criminal cases, civil litigation cases, personal injury cases, estate planning. If you need that advice and that guidance when it comes to legal matters, use Hickey & Hole Law Partners. They have offices across the entire state of Arkansas, and they're here to help you. They understand that a lot of these things, not only are they extremely important, but they have to be extremely detailed. You have to make sure that you're crossing every T and dotting every I and being represented the right way and being protected in the right way. So don't leave it up to chance. Don't do it on your own. Do it with Hickey & Hole Law. They will help you every single step of the way, and they will constantly be in contact with you for each and everything. And since they have offices across the state of Arkansas, you can contact them and get in touch with them today by calling 479-434-2414. That's 479-434-2414. Or you can check out their website at hickeyandhole.com. Scan that QR code right there on the screen. It's Hickey & Hole Law. Things are about to get better. All right, so we'll get to some of your chats, folks. Appreciate it. Again, super chats get read first. Everyone knows the rule here. Shout out to our guy Hayden. Says, my money is Marcelo breaks it, talking about the coaching search story. Says, remember, he did that long-form story on Tyson last basketball season.
yeah, it wouldn't surprise me at all if Marcelo was the guy who wound up putting it out there first, whenever it does happen.
We need to put that bat signal out, man. I do think, I think it's notable the fact that his silence speaks volumes. I think the fact that he's been kind of waiting patiently to drop his bomb is worth noting.
Yeah, was it his silence is deafening or whatever people say? This, all that.
I was gonna say I'm a little surprised that he hasn't been dropping more like articles and everything like that, given the connections we know he has to the situation over there. And I wonder if what he's been doing for Auburn. You know what I mean? Because he's obviously connected over there as well. And I need to look at his work and see what the differences are. If he's just kind of, I
mean, hey, can you blame him? The last time he went on a limb and tried to get in front of an Arkansas story, the sources that he used for said story came out and were like, he's lying. He's a liar. Yeah. So, I mean, if I were him,
I'd to have been telling the truth the whole time. Yeah.
It's like, if I were him, I'd probably be like, all right, yeah, y'all got it. Y'all do your thing.
Yes.
Yeah, so dumb. Shout out to Bama Hog for being a new member. Appreciate it, Bama Hog.
Appreciate that. I'm seeing Bama Hog in the chat a lot more often.
Yeah. We need more hogs in Bama. So it's glad to know that we got. We're gonna have at some point. I wish there was a way to tell if we had every 50 states, all of them represented in some way.
We don't have Wyoming yet.
Yeah, we're working on it though. We haven't gotten the internet up there yet, but we're working on it. We'll get there at one point in time. So, Razor Smacks as David super chat says, "Welcome to the Inside Arkansas House of Pourers." Good grief. Started the thing. We don't need to start that stuff just yet. Like I said, we'll wait for other days to bring that up. But let's see. Also, Phil just says, as a source from PA, I got nothing. So I guess we got Pennsylvania covered too.
There you go.
So yeah, nothing going on there with
telling.
Him. Yeah.
Your silence is deafening, Phil.
Yeah. Razorback Bandy says, it was me. I got a hold of Pete Nakos to throw him off the trail. Smart
Good
man.
Job.
Yeah.
Good job.
Yeah. Got everybody in a pretzel now because of that.
Recognize that profile picture. It's the famous quote.
Yeah.
Oh,
Didn't know what to do.
sheesh. Yeah. Doesn't that seem like just eons ago when all that stuff was going down?
That's how I feel when I get asked about this now.
Similar times, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, just need to start having that clip on repeat. Let's see. Where was the Heartbroken Hog we're talking about? He said, how can you run a playoff committee and a coaching search? Doesn't seem likely to me.
That's
for one, you don't
the
run the
challenge at hand, allegedly.
Yeah. It's that's the thing that we've been discussing there. And then is also Addison says, is it foolish to have hope that they'll do something cool with this coaching search? I don't think it's foolish.
It's
not foolish to have hope.
It's okay to be optimistic. I'll let you guys know right now. And I was talking to the fellas in the group chat earlier today, and whenever they make a high, unless it's just something completely ridiculous, I'm gonna be that guy. Like I'm all in, man. Blind faith. This is gonna be the dude. Let's make it happen. And I'm going in with full optimism and hope and belief, because I'm tired of feeling this way. I'm tired of feeling this way, because we are, people want to do the thing all the time with like, oh, these guys are being negative. No, I mean, we call a spade a spade. And if the way this is played out hasn't, taught some people who might have felt that way, that we were just maybe out in front of it and we're right about a lot of this stuff, being problematic, then I don't know that we're ever going to be able to convince you otherwise. But I don't like being frustrated about the state of the football program. And I don't like having to talk about some of the things that have been going on that aren't going well. So whenever they make this hire, I really do hope that it comes with the support that we're hearing about and the resources, and they just get this thing trending back in a positive direction, because I want to be excited about and looking forward to talking about and covering this damn football program in a bad way. I need it, man. It brings my vibes down having to do stuff like, well, not like this, because this is fun, the coaching search stuff, but the first several weeks of this football season, we were dealing with it all. It was just brutal, man. I got to be honest.
John, you'll appreciate the movie quote I'm about to do here from Endgame. The don't give me hope, and then it's I only regret that I couldn't give it to you sooner. That's really, we wish we could have given you that hope sooner. But I will say, no, it's definitely not foolish to have hope. It's dangerous when you get into a mode of where you're convinced something great is going to happen, and you'll be devastated if something great doesn't happen. That's when you get dangerous. So no, it's not foolish to have hope. It is foolish to be surprised if something bad happens.
Right. It's about, was it Murphy's Law that they call it? Is like if something bad is going to happen or something to that extent, it's going to. And, the PTSD that Razorback fans have, it's like, I get all of that, but I'm the same way. If there's some coaches that I think I put this in the Discord, I'm like PJ Fleck, for instance, I would be kind of disappointed. I'd be like, geez, but you know what? I'm going to give him a shot. It's not like I'm going to just be like, well, I'm never being a Razorback fan again. It's like, no, I want him to succeed. It's kind of like, not to get political, but it's kind of like in a presidential election. If the person I voted for doesn't win, I still want him to succeed. I still want him to be really good. I still want him to make the country great. And it's going to be the same thing where it's not, if it's the coach that I didn't want or that I didn't think is good, I still am going to root for them. I'm still going to have hope, and I'm still going to really do what I can to be fair about it. But I've always said this, my agenda, at least I have an agenda. My agenda is to have my Razorbacks win. And I don't care who does it. I don't care what it looks like. I don't care. I'd rather be wrong about a coach who I think was going to suck and them succeed than me just continue to try to find ways to say they suck, even though they're not. That's just not what it's about. So we all want them to win. We want them to succeed no matter who it is. Let's see. People talking about the playoff committee and everything. Let's see. Oh, Jack Sanders Music says, I respect all of your guys' opinions, and we are all tired of sucking, but Bobby deserves more credit.
I think we do a pretty good job of having given Bobby credit for his contributions and being understanding of his situation. Does he deserve credit, or does he deserve to be the head coach of this football program moving forward?
Big difference
there. And I think that's where maybe the line is a little bit blurred between where you're at and where we're at. I give Bobby a lot of credit for coming back, and the way that it's gone. The offense has been, really good for the most part. And I know that this is not an easy situation to have taken over. And so I don't fully judge him on them losing football games, since they were losing before. And, some of that, a lot of that is not really on him, but part of the contingency of being able to get this thing full time moving forward was to show enough change, enough progress, and gets some wins there. Like that's just kind of part of the deal. You know, that's the situation that he's in. And he hasn't done that. So no, I give Bobby credit, but I wouldn't be giving him the job just because he was put in a tough situation.
Right. And that's a very important distinction to make of like, because every time Arkansas loses a game, which is every single week, it's always like, well, this isn't Bobby's fault, so we should hire him. And I'm like, I agree, it's not his fault. And, you know, like you said, he gets credit for the offense being great. I mean, the number 8 total offense in yardage, I think they're number 21 in scoring. Like, you know, Arkansas's got a good offense. That's great, and Bobby gets credit for that. But so much credit that we have to hire him as the head coach, despite the fact that they might go 2-10. I don't know. I think that's a step too far. I think what rubs me the wrong way is this notion, because, you know, everybody has their opinion, and everybody that has the Bobby opinion has this notion that, like, we are very against the Bobby thing and we can't see any case for it and that we won't give him any credit. It's like, dude, we went into this whole Bobby interim coach experience being like, dude, if he wins 3 games, we can really make a case. Like, if Arkansas goes 5-7, we were like really willing to have the conversation had Arkansas finished at 5-7, and hell, maybe they will. And if they do, I'm sure we will be having the conversation on this show. We all went into it saying he needed to win at least 2, maybe 3, maybe 4. The fact that they've won 0 and people are surprised that we haven't declared him the head coach, I just think that's a complete misunderstanding of everything that we're doing here.
Well, as the residential Bobby Petrino stan and the person that just loves everything that Bobby Petrino's ever done in his life, and me and him play backgammon together. You know, here's the deal. When Petrino became as the interim, I tried to put it just as everybody as clear as crystal as I could. I looked at it as a movie sequel to my favorite movie, where I know it's not going to be as good, but I'm excited to see where it goes, because I'm hopeful that instead of getting some like Happy Gilmore 2, I got Top Gun Maverick. That's what I was hoping for, but we haven't. And he's gone 0-4. And as the biggest Bobby Petrino fan, and even if he goes 0-7, which it looks like that's what's going to happen more than likely, I'm not going to have any disdain towards Bobby Petrino. I'm not going to have any issue. I'm still going to love the man as much as I did before, but I don't think that he deserves the job. And, you know, I just don't. It's not anything personal against him. It's not that he's not done awesome things. Now, because I've even said against Mississippi State, I just want Bobby to win 1 game. So that way his redemption tour that he's trying to go on gets him something. But I also want to be a realistic person, and knowing that, you know, like it's not the look that you want, and it's not the thing that you want to have by hiring a coach on a permanent basis. Then, because it comes across you didn't try very hard, it comes across that you didn't do all the due diligence. It seems like it was lazy, a path of least resistance, and you're hiring a guy that went 0-7. I know it wasn't fully his team, but they went 0-7, and that's just not the look that I think Arkansas needs right now.
Well, and listen, I'll also add this. Do you remember at the beginning of this thing, I guess it was Dan Wolken that was like, hey, I understand why they're doing this Bobby thing, because all we said in that moment was, hey, if Bobby wins X amount of games, you know, I think that was John's question, was like, how many games would Bobby need to win for you to consider him as the head coach? And Dan Wolken quotes it, and he's like, why should the games matter? Like, Bobby's not your head coach. He never should be. He should never be considered. We argued on behalf of Bobby against Dan Wolken, and we said, no, actually the games do matter. You know, currently we agree he's not the head coach and he shouldn't be. But if he wins out and they make the playoff, obviously that's going to matter. And if they win 4 games, that's going to matter. We cannot make that argument for Bobby of, hey, the games have to matter, and then just completely ignore when they don't win any games. You know what I mean? That would make us hypocrites. That would make us stupid. That would be very weird, flawed logic. And I keep coming back to, show me an example of a team that fired their coach, promoted an interim coach, and then did not win a single game, and then promoted that interim coach to full-time head coach. Maybe that's happened before. I would love to hear the example. I just don't think that's a precedent that has ever been set, and I don't know why we would do that for Bobby right now. That just seems insane to me.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on it. It just seems too much. I know, Ellis, you have to bounce out early, so let's go ahead. We'll get to more of your chats, but let's go ahead and get into our heavy hitters here on the show, presented by our friends over at HD Roofing and Construction, because we know that storms can hit unexpectedly here in the state of Arkansas. You never know when it's going to happen. It could be high winds, it could be lightning, it could be tornadoes, it could be ice storms, it could be snowstorms. There's just so many different things to choose from. It's part of being in a state that has all 4 seasons, but you need to make sure that your roof is good to go. You need to make sure that everything is in check there, and that you don't have to worry about the replacement after the fact or fixing a leak after the fact. Be get your due diligence in. Be prepared for it by having HD Roofing Construction give you that free inspection. Give you a peace of mind, if you would, because they're going to have professionalism, top quality materials, and expert installation for each and every one of your roofing needs. So give them a call today. If you're in Northwest Arkansas, call them at 479-957-1928. Or if you're in the Central Arkansas area, you can call them at 501-428-0429. You can also check out their website at hdarkansas.com. It's HD Roofing and Construction, our official sponsors of our heavy hitters here on the show. So if I can get the right thing over there. There we go. So heavy hitters for today, guys. I'll go ahead and kick this one off. First off, I just love a day like today because of all the news and everything that goes down. But also I want to give a heavy hitter to Curtis for last night in the Discord talking about me giving him just the amount of notifications I woke up to from that one was the most absurd thing I've ever seen in my life. But for those of you who don't know, Curtis put into the Discord that because people were wanting information, he was like, I was on a date, if you want to put it that way, but people were just coming up with a lot of things, and it made me laugh really hard this morning. So thank you for that. I appreciate that, all that happening because it was madness. But in all seriousness, no, I want to put out the heavy hitter for today. I had the video pulled up, but UMass, no one cares about UMass football. I'm going to move through this one really quickly. It's UMass football because I appreciate anybody that tries to, even if they're getting smoked, if they're getting destroyed, if something's not going well for them, putting it out there and making it happen. But basically they had I can't find the video right now, but the point is it was basically they were down big. They're around 45-3 or 45-0 to a team. And okay, here we go. So I can pull this one up. Finally found it. But anyways, they scored a field goal late in the game and they had the fireworks show for the ages. And I'm just appreciative that they didn't let the fireworks go to waste. Here's what happened when they scored their field goal to cut it to a 45-3 game. I mean, look at the crowd. You got people dancing in the stands. It's like they're getting wild with it. Yeah, you can't. It's like you can't shoot fireworks when you get shut out, UMass. So, but anyways, I respected that because I'm like, hey, they had those fireworks ready and they're going to shoot them, dadgummit. Usually they're safe for touchdowns, but they took their points. But shout out to them. They're my heavy hitter for today.
I like that. Yeah, that's pretty good stuff. Yeah. I hopped on the Discord. I was looking at the coaching search thing last night, and it was one of those crash out moments for Razorback fans. They happen like 3 times a day minimum,
easily.
But everybody was just kind of tagging John, over and over and over. It's like, what are you hearing? Is this true? What do you think, John? And so finally, I was like, hey, he's on a date. Leave that man alone, And then everybody was commenting, and I started feeling facetious. So I was like, hey, John he just texted me under the table from Roos Chris and said that he heard from one of his sauces and and said, Dabo Swinney, be ready. And then you know how you get the reactions on there. It's like eyeball emojis all over the place and eggplant emojis. And I'm like, oh, some people are actually going to believe this. So yeah, I text John separately right away. And I was like, John, whatever you do, just don't open the Discord tonight. Just don't. It's like, save it for the morning.
What's funny is I didn't even see Curtis's text until I got the amount of notifications that showed from the Discord. I'm like, I don't know what that is, but I'm not even paying attention to it tonight. But it was funny because like all the jokes are like, what's his name? Yeah, got it. Thank you. But so anyways, it was funny though. It was a funny moment last night.
Yeah. Good stuff there. Good stuff for sure. My heavy hitter is Carson Lowe. If Carson Lowe is an Inside Arkansas live listener, show yourself in the chat. So I just saw this, actually. I wasn't 100% sure where I was going to go with this. And now I am. So I'm going to pull this up. This came from Chris Vanini over at The Athletic. And I guess he's got a story attached to it. I haven't read it yet, but it says here, Arkansas has actually had several joke applications to replace Sam Pittman, which were obtained by The Athletic through a records request, but one stood out. A fan named Carson Lowe emailed athletic director Hunter Yuracheck expressing interest with these highlights on his resume. I love the Razorbacks. I have unmatched experience at the collegiate level, beer. I have not played a single down of organized football in my entire life. I know what the Wildcat formation is, and it rocks. I met KJ Jefferson one time, taught him everything he knows. I have a track record of doing things. I'll say things like, we're going to run the damn football or go for 2, the size of the fight in the dog. And then I guess he added there, some are saying that I'm delusional in my aspiration to coach in Fayetteville. To that, I say, screw that. or cut that malarkey, as these thoughts are not representative of my ability to succeed in this position. We know that Arkansas has conducted many Zooms. Carson, I hope you were one of them, buddy.
This is this who Nakos was talking about. He's like, yeah, they've done some preliminary discussions here. This is what he was talking about. So
yep,
yeah, love that.
Yeah,
so, hey, listen, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Go ahead and get your name in there.
Yeah. Well, I was also going to say, I hope that just ran before I let you get yours, Andrew. You think Arkansas has the premium version of Zoom, or do they have to cut it off after 40 minutes?
I think it's 30-minute max for them.
Yeah, they'll be like, oh, I'm sorry. We're gonna have to recall you back. We're out.
Yeah. Stand by.
Yeah.
Well, listen, my heavy hitter, I've got many of them, all of which are coming from the National Basketball Association. Last night was maybe a record night for the Hawks. Like, nobody had like a insane 40-point game or anything, but just like I checked I always box score skim when it comes to NBA. And there's just a lot of Razorbacks on this list. I'm going to read you a few of them. Anthony Black, 17 points, 3 assists, 3 rebounds, couple steals, block, 7-11 from the field, 3 of 5 from 3. He's a really important piece for a very good team in Orlando. Moses Moody gets a start last night, 19, 3 and 3 for him. He's having a really nice year so far, on pace for the best of his pro career. Jordan Walsh, I learned a few minutes ago, not his first career start. Apparently he started a game his rookie year, but his first start of the season last night for the Celtics, had 6 rebounds, 7 points, and 6 rebounds, 7 points, couple assists as well. So good for Jordan Walsh. Daniel Gafford, 15 points, 9 rebounds. Isaiah Joe drops 21 and 5. Isaiah Joe still averaging 16 points a game. Dude's just cooking. I loved his stat line. He was 5 of 11 from the field and 4 for 10 from 3. So if you do the math,
love it.
Good stuff. Great. That's what his shot chart should look like every game. Jay Will, 6 points, 7 rebounds. Hey, like that. And of course, last but certainly not least, of the Houston Rockets, Reed Shepherd, 21 points, 3 assists, 3 rebounds, 8 of 11 shooting, knocked down 5 threes. Love that.
Beautiful.
I hate it.
Woo pig.
Multiple 6-7s in the Arkansas basketball stat lines from the NBA last night. Y'all remember? I remember reading this about Cal a long time ago, that when he was at Kentucky, he used to have a guy on staff that his only job was to compile all the stats from the NBA games the night before of Cal's guys and hand a sheet of paper to Cal every morning. That was just like, hey, here are the stats. I want to have that job for Cal. And I love that Arkansas's list is, getting pretty long there, man. That's a lot of names I just listed off.
That's really cool. Like,
yeah,
that would be a great job, actually. I wonder how much that dude got paid.
I'm sure a ton.
I was going to say, I don't know if I brought this up, but with the whole 6-7 thing, I remember I was talking to my brother about it. I was like, because he has my nephews, they're all doing it too. And I was like, yeah, we didn't do anything this stupid, did we, when we were kids? And he just literally sent me the GIF back of like from Beavis and Butthead doing I am Cornholio TP from my bunghole. And I'm like, okay, yeah, you're right. We did do some pretty stupid stuff. So I'm like, for everybody out there, it's like, kids these days doing stupid. I was like, yeah, well, we all had our own stupid stuff that nobody understood that we did. So, but either way, that's good. Well, I'll tell you what we're going to do here is I'm going to do a live read for Walter Christmas Lighting of Arkansas. And Andrew, you're going to bounce out in the middle of it. So we have a seamless segue. So I'm going to have you give your opportunity before we do that. Any final thoughts before you roll out of here a little early? And me and Curtis can finally talk baseball without you.
My final thoughts are to love one another, be there for one another, support one another, and never, ever, ever lose faith in the swine.
Couldn't said it better myself. Beautiful. And with that, Andrew Ellis is out, and he is off like a prom dress. But we'll have him back on tomorrow. But either way, we're going to continue on here with Inside Arkansas Live. It's going to be me and Curtis taking over. But we've got to tell you first, though, about our friends over at the Walter Christmas Lighting of Arkansas. Because listen, when Christmas gets here, everybody gets in the holiday spirit. Everyone loves the Christmas trees. That's a big deal. Everybody loves, Santa sleighs and snowmen and everything. But it's really about the lights. Like, the snowman only looks so cool with the lights. The sleigh looks only so cool with the lights. Your Christmas tree only looks so cool with the lights. But especially your house. Your house only looks cool when you have the Christmas lights. And that's what Walter Christmas Lighting of Arkansas does for you. They take care of everything. You don't have to worry about getting out there and doing it yourself. You don't have to worry about getting up on a roof and trying to kill yourself out there. Like, don't do that anymore. Don't worry about the time, the effort, and everything. Let the pros do it. Because if you're in Northwest Arkansas or in the River Valley, you can have Walter Christmas Lighting of Arkansas take care of you. across the board, where they provide the materials. You can do any color, any pattern that you want. They install the lights. You get free maintenance throughout the holiday season, and they have all the takedowns happening in January. And you can get a free estimate by texting our guy Brett at 479-459-1380. That's 479-459-1380. You can also check out their website at walterchristmaslighting.com. And as a reminder, folks, next week, starting on Monday, we're going to be doing a drawing for one of you lucky Inside Arkansas listeners out there, going to get a free Christmas lighting setup at your home. That's right. You have to be in Northwest Arkansas River Valley, and we'll give you details on that, so chill out. We're going to be doing that next week starting on Monday, and we'll do the giveaway as we are live at Alumni Hall on Friday for that. So check it out today. Again, Walter Christmas Lighting of Arkansas, your local holiday lighting experts.
And John, we had a little pot at the Palace after dark last night. Showed off the red, the white, and the green. Pretty excited about how our house is looking already. Dominated the neighborhood for Halloween and still doing that for Christmas. But as I was walking around, I was like, oh man, there's like 4 or 5 houses in my neighborhood that are already decked out for Christmas. It's never too early, folks, to get involved in that. And also, if you're from Conway, don't enter into the drawing this time.
Yep.
We can't get you those lights.
Because I saw somebody last time, I think they're like, well, define the River Valley? And I'm like, just be the River Valley. There's not, just doing you some common sense.
Yeah,
it's not like,
Yeah.
If it's not like there's this like direct border, and then if you're a mile outside the border, like, I can't do it. Just, just try to be honest with yourself a little bit. That's all we're saying.
Yeah.
All right. So let's get to the chats here. Appreciate everybody listening in. Some of them in the early ones, we've already kind of talked about this. And by the way, Dakota just says, my wife overheard this song, talking about her intro, and says, wait, why is that kind of cool? We talked about this. Shout out to our guy Gib for doing the intro song. Yeah. I liked it from the jump. We all liked it from the jump, but it's really grown on us. And we're really thankful for Gib and doing it and doing a great job with it. And we're glad that the thing gets caught on for everybody now.
Yeah. People are starting to pick up what Gib was putting down. That's good, man. It's It took a little bit of getting used to for some folks. I remember the when we first started it, there were always like 1 or 2 that were like, I don't know about this one, fellas, but we don't see that anymore. And almost every day it feels like we have a handful of folks that are like, oh, there it is. No ball. Oh yeah, there we go. It's like, all right, cool. This is good. Yeah.
As soon as I know I told this story, but as soon as I got a DM from some like student that said that somebody played the song at Yeehog on Dixon Street over the loudspeaker when none of us were there, I was like, all right, well, that's when you've made it. When the DJ, the request live is being like, hey, man, play Inside Arkansas. That's when it's good. Shout out to Dylan. He says, we already stole Baba from Virginia Tech. We will steal Franklin, too.
Love that. I love that. Yeah, because with Baba, it was the word on the street was that Virginia Tech was like, listen, whatever NIL deal you get from someone else, we will match it or exceed it. Like, it doesn't matter. And then all of a sudden they're out of the running. So you can stretch their budget. We know that there are limits to what Virginia Tech can do. And I think that involves their football search too. So go get James Franklin. They're bluffing if they're talking about money over there, even though I know they've already shown like $200 million they just put into their football program.
Yeah, geez, man. It's like, I from one of my sources, this just shows you how stupid it is, but like one of my sources says that Virginia Tech does not have that next level money. But then again, it's like, This search has made me just not trust anything anymore. It's like I just don't know what to believe or who to believe. So I'm just gonna, I'm gonna believe in myself. I'm just gonna go with my gut feeling on what's going on. Yeah. Let's see. Cats by 21, always good to see you. He says Pope can't land a top recruit. I don't blame them. Nobody wants to play for that soft. Wow, man, this is crazy.
Cats one game, man.
Dude. Yeah. Speaking of Curtis, real quick, did you see the quote that some Kentucky fans were having fun with from Mark Pope today?
No. What did he say?
He said Kentucky had a out of character pregame experience before the loss to Louisville, but I'm not ready to tell the story just yet. So whatever that means.
Why is Mark Pope so extra with everything? Like,
it's the best way to describe it, man.
Why does he have to take everything to a level it doesn't need to go to? Like you lose the game to Louisville, and yeah, that sucks, dude. Like people are passionate about it. It's your rival. You didn't play well. It's the 3rd game of the year or whatever. And he's just like, this is the worst experience in the history of my life. I've had to put down multiple dogs, and this was worse than that. And I don't know how we'll ever recover, but we're going to find our deep internal strength and come together. It's just like, just answer a damn question without trying to go overboard with everything. Jaden Quainton, it's miraculous. He's 22% stronger than any player in NBA history. And he's recovering at a 7,000% rate. Well, he's still not playing. What are we talking about? He just does this all the time. We lost to Georgetown in an exhibition. We're not going to be able to sleep about this. It's unacceptable. It's the worst thing that's ever happened in the history of humanity. It's like, bro, chill out, man. It drives me nuts.
Yeah, he's who was the guy that would always tell those stories on like ESPN? What was his name? And now he's on Fox. He's like that reporter. Anyways, you'd probably know who I'm talking about. His name's escaped me, but I know I'm going to think of it. But that's what he reminds me of. It's almost like, hey, just speak in terms of him. Like, what we all wanted in life was a shot. Jaden Quainton's took his, and now it's something he can remember for the rest of his life. It's like, okay, man, relax. We're talking about the game you got against Southern coming up. Like, just chill out.
Crazy. Man. Yeah, he was like, and leading up to the game against Louisville, I guess afterwards, he was like, yeah, we knew in the buildup we had identified just a terminal illness, in our preparation for this game. And now it's been exposed. And hey, it's pretty simple, man. You couldn't guard him. Hey, we know, we get it. Good grief, bro.
Oh, it's like Hickory Hawk says, Mark Pope, man, he just gets it. Yeah, that's my favorite thing. He just gets it. Yeah, that's my claim to fame of I made the entire Locked On SEC group laugh when I said that anytime that Mark Pope gets asked about, like, hey, what's your favorite color? And he's like, I fart blue. And they're like, this guy just gets it. Gets it.
Yeah, exactly. Bama Hog's got it right here. Philosophical. That's the word I was looking for. Like, everything's got to just be so deep, No, it's not. Sometimes it's surface level. You miss shots. Okay. Louisville's better than you. Okay, moving on.
They just do what Cal does. Why are you shooting threes? Drive the ball and just do that. I just love them, man. You know what? I'm almost excited again for the press conference tomorrow night after the game. I can't wait. It's something I look forward to. Shout out to Arkansas super chat. Appreciate it. He's got his updated power rankings.
Okay, here
that
we go.
No one asked for. 1 Bama, 2 Texas A&M, 3 Georgia, 4 Ole Miss, 5 Vandy, 6 Tennessee, 7 UTSU. Texas is what he's going with. 8 OU, 9 Missouri, 10 Auburn, 11 Mississippi State, 12 LSU, 13 South Carolina, 14 Kentucky, Florida 15, Arkansas 16.
Do we have any big complaints with this one?
No, I like the fact that he put Ole Miss behind Georgia because they lost to Georgia. Ole Miss actually is going to end up without a top 25 ranking. I think we were talking to our guy Grant about that when we went to the game. But if you think about it, like Oklahoma probably may not be ranked by the time they play, but Ole Miss could end up going 11-1 this year with no team that finished in the top 25. So there's that.
It's crazy. Now, this is pretty good work.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, Mizzou, they did beat Auburn. Yeah, so that makes sense.
Would you have Auburn above Mississippi State? Probably because they've been closer in games, maybe?
Yeah.
But you have both of them above LSU, though.
I mean,
yeah, it's crazy, dude.
Wait until Saturday when Arkansas beats those dudes, and then they'll be at the bottom of the barrel.
Dude, you may have to do what Oregon State did and fire the interim coach if they fire the interim coach and fire the interim coach. So yeah,
I think this is pretty good work from Arkansas. There continues to be a resistance to putting A&M number 1, but I get it. I just. Yeah. Not that we don't take them seriously, but it's just that's a tough pill to swallow. And Bama's undefeated in the SEC, right? Like their loss was to Florida State, which was wild behavior, but it was a long time ago. So there you have it. Yeah, this is pretty good work, man.
Yeah, I don't have any complaints about it because some people were talking about the A&M deal, and I was looking at their schedule. I mean, their best win is either at Notre Dame or at Missouri, but then like Missouri. I don't know. Like, I don't know who's good in college football. It's like, we've just been so focused on that. Haven't been able to enjoy it. But yeah, I don't have any complaints though, Arkansas. It looks pretty legit to me. So let's see. Not a Burner says the football team is sponsored by Go-Go Squeeze applesauce now. What is this? Is this a real thing?
Yeah, I have a feeling I'm going to have a bunch of that in my house as the little dude gets older.
Oh yeah.
It's like squeezable applesauces,
Right. Were you a Go-Gurt guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Always had
it. We had this little thing where we put it in the freezer. That way it's like almost like ice cream. When we were kids. Yeah. But I just find it funny because they tweet out. Razorback Football tweeted out. It's like powering our student athletes for game day with Go Squeeze. And I was just like, I don't even want to look at the replies because there's no telling.
That's a thing?
Yeah, they tweeted it out. Like,
Oh, I
as
thought
soon as
this
we
was a bit.
no, like that's what I was saying. That's what I was saying. I was like,
Okay,
oh,
okay,
what
okay.
is this? Yeah, let me, I think I got the picture right here. Like,
I like that.
because I think you probably do too. Like, we have notifications turned on for
Yeah.
like some of the Twitter accounts,
Mhm.
and for football, I have that. And yeah, here we go. It's like, this is it right here.
Oh my gosh. Good for
Yeah.
them, man.
Yep.
This is big time.
Yeah. I mean, this is the stuff that's going to set you apart. They're
This
already
is,
on their way.
This is Arkansas front office at work right here.
Okay, man, and you segued perfectly because I was going to ask. I meant to bring that up, but we had so many things.
Yeah.
We may have to save our real deep dive discussion. Well, I know else will be
I
back
know
maybe
Andrew's going to
tomorrow.
want to, yeah.
Yeah, but just quick thoughts for those who don't know. Like, it looks like the new NIL collective is called a soft launch. I don't really know what to expect, but they have an Instagram account. It's called the Arkansas Front Office. Like, do you have any thoughts to that, Curtis?
I just, I don't know what it's going to look like. It seems like maybe it's not, you said soft launch. Had they even promoted it yet? Like, it's out there? Because it feels like maybe they just kind of made the site live and got the Instagram account created, and then they got found. It could have been the thing there. It's maybe, I don't know, but I'm anxious to see what the details are going to look like. And I know it's more in tune with getting those NIL deals that are on the up and up that'll go through the clearinghouse. I guess there will be a collective aspect to that too, but it's a little bit hard to say. My only thing about it, and I hate this, man, because I know that we come across as like nitpicking and stuff all the time, but it's like Arkansas Edge failed. Like, it didn't work. You know what I mean? And so now you're in the midst of a coaching search here, and everybody knows that you're going to launch this new collective, this new NIL campaign, whatever it's going to be, and you can't even get that right. You know what I mean? Like, it just feels like you need to be able to capitalize on it to get as much interest as possible. Like, boom, right away, people are going to contribute to this. We're all in. Let's do this. And so to me, it should be like, coach announced, new NIL thing launched. Like, hey, support the new guy. This is what we're going to do. And instead, it's like a few weeks ahead. It just appears. Nobody's talking about it. Everybody's like, well, what the hell is this? And it almost just like kills any buzz that you could have about it. In my opinion, it might be a great thing. Maybe it's well-researched and they got the marketing plan all in place and everything. It just came out a little bit early. I don't know, but I just kind of feel like they could have gone a little bit better of a way about making sure that this had the pop initially that you wanted it to have. That's all.
Well, and I'm with you. I guess maybe I look at it as someone who's, we launched a company and a new thing before, especially when it comes to social media. I can get it. Like, this is what I would have done. And I'm not hating or anything. I'm just saying, if you didn't want it to come out that early, you don't have to launch the website right until you're ready, And for like the Instagram account that I saw, you don't have to, you could just name it something, but you don't have to put a profile picture yet. You don't have to have a post yet. You could just, because that way, if someone's like, hey, so-and-so you follow, is this from front office or whatever, like, okay, you don't think anything twice about it. So, and then once it's all ready to launch, then you put in all the details and everything. So maybe that was the case, but I get getting ahead of it, but maybe just the approach that you had was there, and maybe it wasn't intended. I don't know, but I'm hopeful. Yeah, I'm hopeful for it though.
I was going to say that could very well be the case. And I know, like, we've built a site before, and you can like have the staging site to where you see what it's going to look like when you go live, but you don't really know until you do it. That could be part of it. And I just think back to when we were switching everything over, from Natty State to Inside Arkansas. And so, like, we were just changing like some of the logos on our podcast and everything. And then right away, somebody found like a pot at the Palace from months ago. And they were like, whoa, new look, Inside Arkansas. What is this? And we're like, oh, that wasn't supposed to be out yet. Like, we didn't know it was going to show up on the thing. So that type of stuff can happen too. Like, I get it. So I don't want to come across as too critical. Like, I'm really excited to hear what this is going to look like, but
yeah,
I just feel like it needs to be like this explosion of information. This is exactly what it looks like. This is our plan. This is our campaign. This is our new drive for 5 or whatever the hell you want to call it. And let's get crazy with the new head coach. And they'll probably still do that, but now everybody kind of knows, what it is.
No, but we'll see where it plays out. A few more here. Addison just says, burning question for my wife. What is Curtis's 7 brew drink? You have a 7 brew drink?
Yeah.
Oh,
Usually I'd get the Razorberry thing, but now they've got the holiday punch.
Oh,
It's pretty good. Yeah.
no,
Energy.
I have a confession to make. I've never been to 7 Brew.
Really?
Mm.
Wow.
I think I may have had a drink from 7 Brew because someone went and got something and brought it to me, but I have never been to a 7 Brew because I think, and the reason is because every time I go buy one, it is so freaking packed that I don't even want to wait in line. So maybe I need to change that though. Let's see. Rod Damn One says, Curtis, is it an Arkansas or Maryland decision for Baba?
Arkansas.
Woo pig. Isn't it nice just to have that? I think I talked about this on my Locked On where they signed the players yesterday. I guess was it yesterday? Yeah, yesterday. And then, you think about Baba, which all intents and purposes, I know you've talked about, it looks like it's going to be an Arkansas guy. It's just nice to know, like, hey, who's a big time 5-star player? But Arkansas's legitimately got a chance at him. Like, it's just nice to have that. You're gonna have burger boys, multiple burger boys on every team, and it just is nice. It's just really nice.
It's a lot of fun. I saw. I wish I want to give credit to the right person. I don't remember who it was, but Arkansas started 4 McDonald's All-Americans the other night.
I'm so glad you brought that up because I was going to ask you how many are on the roster. Because is it 4? I counted 4, but is it 5 total?
Well, first of all, imagine being Nick Pringle. You know what I mean? Like you just it's all McDonald's All-Americans in the starting lineup, and then you. So, nice player in his own right. But let's look at this real quick. Malik Thomas, McDonald's All-American. Darius Acuff, Burger Boy. Carter Knox, Burger Boy. DJ, Burger Boy. And yeah, I think that's it. Billy was not. Billy was a 5-star consensus or in the whatever they call it, the industry average or something. I don't think he was a McDonald's All-American, and I don't think Kareem Martell was either. So
4.
Yeah.
Okay, because I think the previous, because I guess Muss had 3, right? He had the 3 with Nick Smith, Anthony Black, and Jordan Walsh, and then. I guess that's it. I guess I don't know if like in the Nolan days, I'm sure there were times they had 2 or 3, but 4 has to be the record, I would think, for Arkansas on one roster.
Probably so.
And if DJ Wagner comes back again next year, who knows? Maybe you'll have 4 again.
Right.
Or
I'm just
close
looking
to
and making sure. Yeah, I was pretty sure Billy was. Yeah, Billy was in that Jordan Brand Classic. He was in the Iverson Classic, but not a McDonald's guy. Okay.
All right. Cool. All right. A few more here. Really appreciate everybody tuning in with us. Let's see. Comes from Razor Smacks David. He says they interviewed that guy from Missouri, so there's something. Have they though? Did they though? Lehigh Drinkwitz didn't think so. He was, man. That's another thing to watch. Like Missouri may have a job opening too. Like, man, the way that, and also I saw some today, Curtis, about Tennessee. There were some people saying, hey, if Josh Heupel loses to Florida, or I think it was Florida or somebody, they're like, you might be out. I'm like, good grief.
Yeah, people are getting frustrated with him and then thinking he might be looking for like a soft landing somewhere else. And yeah, that Tennessee job opens up. That's a huge job. That one's be up there in the pecking order. If they fire him though, like, I don't know. If I'm a coach, if I'm a Lane Kiffin or anybody else, if you got rid of Josh Heupel after everything he's done there, I wouldn't want to go. Like I have no job security whatsoever. But
would you take Josh Heupel at Arkansas if he got fired?
1,000%.
I would too.
Yeah,
I would
100 times out of 100, man. I would take Josh Heupel.
Yeah,
maybe he's the guy.
Yeah, maybe that's what. It's all a ploy. It's all a ploy. Let's see, real quick. Chase Arkansas says, "What are the chances we actually get the boot back?"
Better than people might think. Right?
Better than 50%.
No, because of Arkansas's inability to win any games, much less close ones. Although, spoiler alert, I did pick them to win this week. My thought process on it is Arkansas is used to this interim thing at this point. You know what I mean? Like they've been doing it. They kind of understand where they're at here, and they've at least continued to play hard through this. I just wonder if there's another level of let go from LSU. And then on the football field itself, I don't know that LSU can really, they haven't really been able to score a bunch of points on anybody. And could Arkansas be the exception? Maybe. But what I do know is that Arkansas can score points on anybody. So I think they're going to win. I think they're going to go over there and get them. And I think that we're going to be forced into having these Bobby Petrino conversations next week, even if they're not real. Because we're seeing people in here today who are like, not giving him enough credit. He makes the most sense. He gives you the most bang for your buck. Like, you still have that. If they win one game, it's gonna be like on crack. So
yeah,
that's where we're going.
Well, I'll say this. I don't know if you saw it. Shout out to Connor O'Gara, friend of mine.
Okay.
Arkansas and LSU both have interim coaches. This is the first time that, and we're talking about fired interim coaches, not like, a coach that just, like COVID when a coach had to sit out. No. First time since 1964 that their two interim SEC coaches have gone at it. So shout out to him for that stat. You're part of history. Yeah. Yep. And final one here from Hickory Hog, just bringing it up. It says, John looking for a place to live, time to start dating. If I ever have whoever the girl is that if I ever actually end up getting married to, just God bless her, because they're the way that I'm just gonna be like, don't look at our chats, don't look at our replies to anything, don't look at anything, just focus on the relationship, because she's just gonna not have no chance at all. So
by the way, I know some people have said, well, they might not play Nussmeier for LSU. It might be the Michael Van Buren kid. It might be the backup quarterback. We know how the backup quarterback thing goes. And if that winds up being the case, Van Buren did throw for 309 yards on Arkansas last year when he was at Mississippi State. So,
Oh, thank you for that. Jeez, man. I feel like it's going to be the drunkest game ever. I'm hoping for a drunk game like an interim based drunk game where it's either going to be like back and forth, no defense whatsoever, or it's going to be like just a final score of 15-12 where everyone just kick field goals. Something's going to happen. It's going to be drunk.
That's disgusting. So, yeah.
I know. Yeah, but we're going to be there. We're going to watch it. We're going to have a pregame show presented by Bet Saracen and a postgame show. It's going to happen. So, well, Curtis, any final thoughts before we roll out of here for the day?
Basketball plays tomorrow, so I am looking forward to that. And we'll have the preview out with Pot at the Palace in the morning, and obviously we'll talk about that. But make sure, I know it's Friday night. People go out and do things. One option, if you're around, would be to go to the Razorback basketball game Friday night. I'm anxious to see what the crowd looks like down there, and then obviously we'll have the Pot at the Palace post-game show afterwards. So make sure you tap in, join us, get your reactions in.
Yep, that's right. Because it's hopefully this team doesn't play like crap last time, only winning by 38 points or whatever. They actually put in the work. So yeah, it's gonna be fun, man. It's basketball's. This is a fun time of year, and as a reminder to folks, if you ask me if I come across any tickets, because I get a lot of DMs because I've become the ticket master, which is fine. I'll let you know. It's not one of those deals to where I just I'm just hoarding all these tickets, and I'm like, I'm just gonna save them for. If I have them, I'll send them to you. If not, then I'll do my best. But either way, hopefully we have a good turnout for the game tomorrow, and should be a lot of excitement. And of course, Pot at the Palace following that. Inside Arkansas football pregame, postgame on Saturday. It's going to be a busy one. But we're going to have it right here at Inside Arkansas. So appreciate each and every one of you listening in and watching in Inside Arkansas Live. Be sure to subscribe to us here at Inside Arkansas on our YouTube page. You can check out our social media at Inside Arkansas. You can also check out our audio podcast wherever podcasts are found, whether it's Inside Arkansas Live, Pot at the Palace, the Bombastic Podcast, Inside Arkansas Recruiting Podcast with Dudley Dawson, as well as the Inside Arkansas Football Podcast. And we're going to keep it going from there. So I'll do it for us today. For Andrew Ellis, Curtis Wilkerson, as well as intern Cameron, I am John Neighbors. Same sports show, same sports channel tomorrow at noon. Have a great rest of your day, everybody. We'll see you then.